Hello, ladies and gents, boys
What?
and girls of every. Never mind.
You're on a roll, man. Go with it. It was good. Keep the shit going, man.
I have a DeLorean. It's my DeLorean, and it's cool.
I can only imagine what people did listening live or listening to this where they can't see this afterward. They're just in their car just going, the fuck? What? If you went, I've got a DeLorean. Ridiculous. What's going on, everybody?
I could always go Elmo on them. Just be like, hi.
Oh, God. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Battle Bros podcast with the Battle Bros. Myself, I am Mac. This is Alamo. We are two guys that have known each other for a very long time. And this is our passion project / calling that we do almost every Friday night whenever we're doing episodes and stuff. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. If you're coming and seeing us for the second or subsequent times, welcome back. You can always go and check out our YouTube page where we have all of our episodes up for viewing and listening pleasure. You can go check those out there. We're on Spotify. We're on a bunch of other platforms there, but your easiest way to do it is to go to YouTube. That has every single episode. The other episodes are going to be -1, and that's from a long time ago. But yeah, we still got to talk about it. But
yes, indeed.
So, yeah, let's get right into this, shall we? So, today is February 27th, 2026. Hope everybody had a good week. I am looking forward to a 3-day weekend because, yeah, it's been a little bit crazy. Is what I do. If you caught us last in Hillsborough County, it is.
Oh, what do you
They had? So 2 Fridays ago, they had off for the state fair, and now they have Monday off to go to the Strawberry Festival. So it's like,
oh, okay.
Like, hey,
yeah, that makes sense. Every once in a while, I do kind of miss the small.
I don't care
Extras and
Pillsbury. If you caught our show last week, we were doing the second part of a 2-part series called Fallout. For the first part, we talked about discrimination. The second part we did last week was called jealousy. We had a special guest on both those episodes, our good friend Brian. Shout out again to Brian for volunteering his time and his knowledge, wisdom, and expertise to come in and talk to us about these subjects. You can go back and check those out on YouTube. I don't believe they're up quite yet on Spotify, but they'll be up sometime soon. No rush or pressure on that. I don't know when that is, but it just kind of is one of those things. But you can go and check out the episodes on YouTube, plug it into your car, listen to it on a long drive. They're great for that. Both those episodes were like 2 hours plus. So if you got a long drive somewhere, put it on the old radio. It's all good to go. Listen to 3 guys, talk about shit. It's awesome.
Indeed.
So before we get into this week's episode, we got a little bit of news going on that we want to talk about. So this past week, I believe it was it Monday or Tuesday night?
It was Tuesday night.
Tuesday night because we had our first weekly meeting going on. President Trump gave his State of the Union address. Now, I didn't really catch anything about what that was. Personally, I don't watch a lot of the news because it leads to a lot of negativity. Just the news and everything else, the politics, it's a lot of negativity and drama, and I try to, circumvent a lot of things like that out of my life as much as possible. Let me just fix the old camera here. There we go. Perfect. But there were some interesting highlights of that. So I don't recall any other time they've done this. There was actually 3 military decorations given out.
There sure were.
That were pretty awesome. So the first one was to a U.S. Navy Captain E. Royce Williams, who served in Korea. He is retired, 100 years old, and he was presented his Medal of Honor by First Lady Melania Trump. According to, let's go to this right here. So, Let's see. So basically, this took place in his Medal of Honor citation took place in Korea. He basically trying to see where was this. So this is actually an upgrade of the Navy Cross. He originally was awarded the Silver Star in 1953 while assigned to the pacemakers of Flight Squadron 781 in 1953. It was then upgraded to the Navy Cross in January of 2023, and then it was upgraded and awarded as the Medal of Honor Tuesday of this past week. So from what I read on the citation is basically he was in some pretty nasty, here we go. On November 18th, 1952, pretty nasty weather and some just crazy conditions when he was flying. On 18 November of 1952, flying from USS Oriskany, however you say that. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it.
Oriskany, I think you pronounced it semi right beforehand.
I'm also semi-retarded,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that. And outnumbered in the skies over North Korea, he chose to engage to protect the ships of Task Force 77 and the sailors aboard them. In a 35-minute dogfight, he shot down 3 MiG-15s and severely damaged a 4th one. For decades, much of his story remained classified, but the facts never changed. His courage, airmanship, and devotion to duty saved lives, and upheld the highest traditions of the naval service. So yeah, I mean, getting that you got a Silver Star for it, but you couldn't tell anybody about what it was because it was during Korea and the Cold War and stuff. So it's like, yeah, we really can't talk about it too much. So, but hey, that can happen, unfortunately. So, but
sometimes things tend to be let's just say a little bit more under the radar, if you will.
Yeah.
Let's
see. He learned to fly the F-9 F-5 Panther jet and was assigned to active duty in Korea, during which he flew 70 missions. He went on to serve in Vietnam War, flying over 110 missions in the A-4 Skyhawk and the F-4 Phantom from the USS Kitty Hawk CV-63. Later served as commanding officer of the command ship USS El Dorado between September of 69 and January of 71. Retired from the Navy as a captain in 1980. Wow, pretty cool stuff. So that was one of them. There was also a second Medal of Honor citation, Medal of Honor awarded. This one was also very, very interesting as well. So this one was awarded to U.S. Army Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover. Now, his is actually a little bit more current. This took place during
more current, actually.
The citation that was cited took place pretty much during the military operation down in Venezuela, which resulted in the capture of Nicolas Maduro, and that happened earlier this year. So it's kind of that's quick for them to turn around and do that. Usually it kind of goes
hella quick.
Yeah.
Hella quick.
So it's like, but basically he was flying, from what the citation said, he is a pilot with the 160th SOAR. That is the Special Operations Aviation Regiment. Those are like the most badass pilots there are.
Yeah.
Like if you make it with those guys, you can pretty much write your check anywhere you want to go.
In other words, Chief has got balls of freaking steel.
And you notice in the pictures and the stuff, like it looks like he's holding on to a walker. Nope. Carrying a wheelbarrow. Doesn't wear underwear. Balls don't fit.
Damn right.
Saying. Huge, huge testicular fortitude.
Hell yes.
Testiculars are themselves huge.
Exactly.
Not to be weird. Anyway, just saying. But also, if you look at the pictures of this guy, he is pretty damn stacked. There is a picture.
He's got the Chad chin, all that good stuff, too.
I mean, the dude just looks like a movie hero, a superhero out of a movie. He's got the little dimple chin going on. He's got the stone jaw. You know, he's a CW5. So if you look in his decorations, he's got it looks like the Distinguished Service Cross, Bronze Star, Silver Star, Air Medal, bunch of other stuff. You know, Afghanistan campaign, Operation New Dawn, like he's got a whole bunch of Hershey bars up his right sleeve. So on the Army uniform, if you're not aware, on the right sleeve, officers and enlisted they wear hash marks, and what those hash marks are is they represent 6 months overseas service time. So if you spend a year in Afghanistan, you're gonna have like 2, right? So his is like, bleh. I mean, it looks like a ladder. Like,
Look at that son. Look at that son bitch.
can you zoom in on his right
God.
sleeve right there, Alamo? For those that are able to see it and watch it, are you able to zoom in on that picture?
I believe I can. Let's see.
So check in on that, and then also go up to the guy's fruit salad because
boom. Look at that.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's like 5 years overseas that we can see there. And then if you can also zoom in on the guy's fruit salad, I mean, Jesus. Yep. So he's got a combat action badge. He's got his Master Aviator, Distinguished Service Cross. He's
Airborne and Air Assault.
Airborne and Air Assault. He's got Silver Star, Bronze Star, Purple Heart, Legion of Merit, or maybe Good Conduct Medal, I think that is. Air Medal, ARCOM, AAM, National Defense.
Went to the stand.
He's got Operation New Dawn, GWAT Expeditionary, GWAT Service, and I think that might be Korea Service right there at the top. I don't know. And then you got the Army Service Ribbon, Overseas Ribbon, and it looks like the NATO
right
ribbon
on
as
that
well.
one. I think that is the Korea one. Because I've known a couple of guys that actually served over there.
Zoom in on the dude's face.
Yeah.
Do the same thing, but just show that dude's mug.
Look at that Chad.
Look
at that Chad, dude.
Golly, that is a fucking hero right there. And the dude, so like he's walking in on a walker because when they were doing the mission, he's flying I think it's an MH-47, which is the Chinook variant.
Dimple chin.
It's kind of outfitted with heavy weapons and stuff. But he looked over at one point. He had taken rounds up through his legs and through his hip, which is why he's walking with the assistance of a walker right there. And at one point during the action, he looked over at his co-pilot and says, "I think I'm going to pass out now." Like he's very modest about it. You know, Chief ain't no bitch. That's what I'm saying.
Damn right.
CW5, man. Jesus. So
yeah, get some, Chief.
Again, this is Army CW5 Eric Slover. So this just happened earlier this year. So Medal of Honor recipient for being a badass. The third and final award, didn't have any pictures of this, unfortunately. I would have brought them up. So everybody, if you remember last year back in Texas, July 4th of 2025, there was some terrible flooding that took place in the hill country in Texas, and awful stuff, right? Well, there was a guy by the name of United States Coast Guard Petty Officer Scott Ruskin. This guy had just finished his certification as an AST, which is a aviation survival technician. And if you don't know what that means, basically it's a rescue swimmer. If you've ever saw the movie The Guardian with Ashton Kutcher and Kevin Costner, that's basically what this guy is. He is a aviation survival technician. He's a rescue swimmer. They go out, they bring people up. This is now, mind you, this is the petty officer's first mission as a newly minted rescue swimmer. The dude saved 169 lives in his first mission as an AST. And like, just the dude was just, he's given some interviews and stuff. It's like, you talk about modest, just like I was doing my job. Like that's all there is to it. But he attended the State of the Union address as well. And he also had a young lady who was there, who was one of the people that he saved from the floodwaters. A lot of the folks that he saved came from I believe it was some kind of like girls' camp or something.
Yeah, it was the camp that got flooded.
Yeah, like
terrible, man. They lost so many babies that day, dude.
They lost, I think, something like 70, I think. I don't
Dude,
remember,
I can't even imagine, bro.
but
I can't even imagine.
yeah, I mean, regardless, the fact that they went out there and saved 169 people during that one task in that one deployment, that's huge. So all you naysayers want to give the Coast Guard shit,
Look at this, man.
at ease
Fucking
that horse shit.
dude, like seriously, look at this. These guys are fucking heroes, man. Like there's no other way of saying that. Like these guys are fucking heroes.
What a stud. I mean,
And like, like he's
So-
he's got the freaking the
he's
true
got that great
chief stash.
stash. Yeah. Got that great. I mean, all these
Oh,
guys
man.
look heroic as shit, right? Like the captain up there,
And
he's got
even
a
for
big
being
old
such a
grin ear to
young buck
ear.
too, and even for being such a young, but he's actually fairly stacked on his little
So I think at the time he was a E4, he was a petty officer 3rd class. Now he's a petty officer 2nd.
Yeah,
I looked at the picture. He's got 2 stripes. So he's a petty officer 2nd class. But again, what an awesome! And that young lady right there on his left hand side. That's one of the
kids he saved.
That's one of the kids he saved.
That's
She
one of the kids he
accompanied
saved.
him. Fantastic story. I mean, just like it reminds me of that this is gonna sound a little bit cheesy, and I'm sorry ahead of time, but if you've ever seen the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still with Keanu Reeves, when he's talking to the people in the restaurant as the alien, he's like, whenever things are at their worst, your kind is at their best. And that it's like, yeah, like props to that guy. Like that guy should, if he stays in long enough, like let that dude be the mech pog. Let him be the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard.
Hell
like,
yeah, dude.
that guy. Again, another. Oh, that's what we need. The Wheelbarrow Club. Absolutely. So he was
Wheelbarrow Club.
he was
Yes, I love
he
it.
was recognized with the Legion of Merit for his life-saving capabilities and accomplishments during that tasking. So, Petty Officer Ruskin, congratulations, well deserved, good job, and keep kicking ass, my man.
Keep
so
charging.
That was kind of interesting that they chose to do that during the State of the Union. It's something a little bit different, and a lot of folks that are politicians were like, it's I've never had the opportunity to attend a ceremony like that. It's like if that doesn't get you like in the heartstrings and stuff and make you feel pride as an American, it's like, yeah. And I'm not just saying that to drink the patriotic Kool-Aid and shit, folks. I mean, it's dead. It's serious. Like if you want to hear some like amazing feats and stuff, go back and watch any of those. For any of the guys during GWAT, Mikey Mansour, Mike Murphy, Lieutenant Mike Murphy from Operation Red Wings.
Dude, I'll tell you what, dude. Seeing these guys get their freaking awards and seeing like it made the negative shit that I've been seeing for the last like I don't know what 5-6 years. It made all that negative shit just kind of just melt away for a little while. You know what I mean? It got me feeling so patriotic right now that I actually ended up buying a 250th birthday like American flag with like it's damn, you know what? I should have grabbed it. So I could be like, yes.
But you're absolutely right though, man. Watching those, man, it's so patriotic. There was another guy who was awarded the Medal of Honor, and it was during the Biden administration. It was Colonel Ralph Puckett, who was an Army Ranger during Korea.
Yeah.
Dude's up there. You can tell he's kind of up there in age and stuff. And one of the military aides was up there, had his walker in front of him. And this guy, you could tell he's getting up there. He's a little bit older of a gentleman. He had a walker to help him walk. But when they read that citation, he took that walker and just politely just chucked it off to the side, just stood there at attention, chest out, got the Medal of Honor ribbon put around his neck and stuff. It's like, God damn, like just something about that, man. It's freaking amazing. So
yeah, man, those guys like, and those things, that's the thing about like when you're dealing with like, there's just something about recognizing when you've gotten something, or well, not necessarily that you've gotten something, but it's kind of you're doing it for the guys that served with you when you're receiving awards like that. It's not even about, because that's why you stand tall. You're standing tall because none of it was because of you. You did it because
It's all
was the
about the guys to
it
you,
was
to
the
your
guys
left and
next to you.
right.
It was
Yeah.
about the guys next to you. So you did what you had to do. And if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be receiving that award. That's why those guys always say, well, when I got this award, it wasn't me. It was all of us. This award is for all of us. And that just man, I'm starting to fucking get choked up thinking about it. But
No, you're absolutely right, dude. Like when they talked about
it's if that doesn't fill you with a sense of pride, man, like come on, dude.
straight up.
Come on.
Yeah, like who's Sergeant Major Payne was the Delta Force operator who was awarded one
Yes.
for Inherent
Not
Resolve.
Major Payne, y'all.
Sorry,
Sergeant Major Payne.
he came out there and he was in the pinks and greens. He had on his jump boots. I mean, just looking like a freaking stud. Like what you would like, professional,
You ever
humble,
wonder?
respectful. What's up?
You ever wonder if Sergeant Major Payne ever just one day just was like, I can't hear you?
No, don't ruin that. Don't ruin that. Shut up. You're such a
I mean, not you got to admit, you with the last name Payne,
yeah, but that's
he
a
had to
different-
have thought about it.
different
he had
guy,
to have-
different story.
I get it.
Nobody else. Listen,
I know
I'm gonna
I
say
would've.
that. I will
I
say
know I
this.
would have. If I had the
I-
name Payne,
I
would've.
will say this. Nobody else could have played that role other than the great Damon Wayans. Okay.
Yes.
And his son is just as damn funny as he is. Like
God, he is.
it looks
he
just like him,
is,
cut
man.
from the same cloth. Like that movie. What's that movie? Let's Be Cops.
Oh my!
Fantastic.
That movie is fantastic. It's so hilarious.
Dude, I want to get drunk and watch that movie with you.
Yeah.
We gotta do that. Anyway, but no, like get back on track, man. Like, yeah, like seeing those guys come out and they're standing tall, and all of them will say it. It's like, I'm wearing this because so and so isn't here anymore, so I wear it in
Yeah.
honor of them. and
Hell yeah,
whatnot.
dude.
So it's listen. I mean, I'll say it. Like, there's been a couple of them I've watched where I've gotten a little teary eyed, especially
Yeah. Absolutely, dude.
who was that? What was that guy's name? Salvatore Junta. He was a paratrooper with the
Yes.
173rd Airborne. He was the first
Yes.
living recipient of the Medal of Honor since Vietnam, I believe.
Was it Vietnam?
I think so, because the last two that were awarded were Shugart and Gordon
Posthumously.
for
Yeah.
Mogadishu, and that was in
Yeah.
'93. That was during Clinton
Mhm.
stuff. So, but they were both awarded posthumously and stuff. But yeah, I mean, and they had a bunch of people there in the White House because first living recipient in a long time. It's like it's a big deal. That's an easy club to be a part of.
That is a hell of
The Medal of Honor Society, aka the Wheelbarrow Club.
Yep.
Anyway,
Guys that received that award or have received are of the ilk of, guys like Audie Murphy, freaking and like, oh my God, so many others. And it's just it's wild, man, to think like some of these guys. And I remember watching a documentary on Medal of Honor winners and the things that they did. And some of these stories, like you would never believe it, man. You would never freaking believe it. There was one guy, I can't remember. Oh my gosh, what was his name? And he was one of I would say of many, but very few that earned the Medal of Honor during World War II. And by himself, he took on like, I can't remember how many freaking guys. I don't remember if it was in Italy. I don't remember where it was, but he was by himself with a rifle and like grenades and I think of like a bazooka, and he wrecked these guys.
that
And
sounds like Audie Murphy.
It wasn't Audie. Audie freaking the Audie's And
His
think about
stuff-
it this way, dude. Think about it. Audie Murphy was not a big guy. He was shorter than I was. He's shorter than I am.
If you
He was
folks have never seen Alamo in person,
5'5".
that is saying something.
I am 5'7". Okay, Audie was 5'5". Okay, 5'5". This guy,
You do this.
his kill count, like my freaking like
He invented God mode before God mode was a thing.
Nick, the fat electrician. Okay, the fat electrician covered him. He said, and I'm paraphrasing here. Basically, he was like, Audie Murphy was one of those guys that proved that size doesn't fucking matter, because Audie Murphy was not a big guy. He said, I am 5'10". Audie Murphy was 5'5" and destroyed I don't know how many fucking Germans. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess there's always exceptions to the rule, right?
Listen, if you folks, by the way, we're not affiliated with them at all, but if you folks don't watch Fat Electrician or the Unsubscribed podcast, you are
what are you
missing out,
doing with
those
yourself?
guys are hilarious.
What are you doing?
Those guys will have you belly laughing, kicking furniture, breaking shit because you're just
cramping at the stomach because you're laughing so hard. Yeah.
Oh man. And they just the level of obscure knowledge that they drop on you about stuff. It's like, didn't know
especially that. Nick. Oh my gosh, he freaking
Nick I heard Nick tell a story,
and I love when he tells his story, because the way he tells his stories is so freaking awesome.
Yeah,
it's like I can tell stories pretty good. Nick just
another level
has a freaking way of telling freaking stories that is just you laugh and you also have feelings sometimes because of the sometimes he gets serious, but for the most part he keeps it pretty funny. Like one episode that he did, watch the one, I can't remember if it was a Danish guy or Swedish. Either way, it was a soldier survived because of meth. Okay. That's pretty much the name of the episode.
When that guy cross country skied across 2 countries?
Yes.
I think I saw part of that. Yeah. I saw a clip of him today, as a matter of fact. He was talking about how Eisenhower wanted to abolish the Marine Corps after World War II.
Really?
And they were like, we'll just have the Army and the Navy. We'll keep it simple. Well, one small thing happened that kind of changed that forever. And that was when they had prisoners in the prison of Alcatraz had seized control of the guards and were pretty much, running the show. So the Marine Corps answers directly to the president, or at least they did at the time. I'm not sure how it is nowadays, but he answered directly to the president without having to go through an act of Congress or nothing. So he sent him in there. Mind you, they sent in a bunch of dudes who were World War II veterans.
I think it is still the same way, dude.
Because
it takes an act of Congress to send us in,
right?
But it doesn't take an act of Congress for the Marines still,
right?
That's why usually they're the first ones in,
right? That makes sense. So anyway, so he's like, all these dudes are World War II veteran, flamethrower operators. Went in there with grenades in 1911s. They had the prison under control in 45 minutes. Yeah, we're good. Marines ain't going anywhere. Nope. And the way he just tells that story is hilarious. But yes, if you're not watching or at least seeing any of his content, go check it out. It's freaking awesome.
Awesome sauce.
Anyway, let's get to the topic at hand, shall we? We're running a little bit behind, but that's okay. We're not really on a time limit, but hey, it's good conversation, folks.
Yeah, time tends to kind of meld together when you're talking about
it's very fluid.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's steam, sometimes it's water, sometimes it's ice. It just kind of changes as for what you need. Right?
Yes.
If you got bourbon, it's ice. If you got bourbon and you got water, make it ice, because why would you want to fuck up good bourbon watering that shit down?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so for tonight's episode, this is episode 125 of the Battle Bros podcast. We're talking about this topic. Jesus Christ, words are hard. I said topic and subject. I went top.
You speak words.
The subak. Well, I'm just making up shit. This is what happens when you've been up for,
Sabak? Isn't that a game from Star Wars?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I just messed up my words here. For tonight's
'Cause you speak French.
conversation, we are talking about the subject of heritage, what we carry after the uniform. Is the title of tonight's episode. This is episode 125, entitled Heritage, what we carry after the uniform of the Battle Bros broadcast. So before we get started into this conversation, let's talk about heritage. What is heritage? Oh, hell, I'm glad you asked because I looked it up. Heritage is defined as one of the following. It is property that is or may be inherited or an inheritance. It is valued objects and qualities such as cultural traditions, unspoiled countryside, and historic buildings that have been passed down from previous generations. It is also denoted as a traditional brand or product regarded as emblematic of fine craftsmanship. Now, we're going to take that one step further for military heritage, because that is kind of what we're going to talk about a little bit, partly. It's military heritage is defined as the documented history, lineage, honors, and traditions of a military organization, maintained to foster unit cohesion and esprit de corps. Okay, so one of the things, and I know Alamo, you can kind of lend a little bit of experience on this subject a little bit, but when you go to a unit in active duty, you do have to learn a little bit about that unit's lineage, like battles that they've had, like honors that they've been awarded and all that and whatnot, like where the unit comes from. So like with 2nd Stryker Cav,
Yeah, sure.
you had to learn a little bit about that, like how it's actually what they're referred to as dragoons, which explained that to the folks.
Yeah, sure. So dragoons were very simple, mounted infantry. It originally started out as, obviously because of cavalry, we were basically horse soldiers. And that's how we originally started out at our unit. We didn't always have the fleur-de-lis on our uniforms, patch. The fleur-de-lis ended up being added in later, I believe, after I believe it was the defense on, oh my gosh, it was a World War II battle I'm blanking on right now, or not World War II, World War One. World War One battle that I'm, again, like I said, that I'm blanking on. And essentially the French were so impressed by the 2nd Cavalry Regiment that they, in solidarity with the soldiers that they operated with in that field of battle, they ended up giving them essentially permission to place the fleur-de-lis on their uniform patches, which ended up integrating the whole thing into what is now the 2nd Cavalry Regiment's patch.
The fleur-de-lis is for combat service in France in both World War I and World War II.
Oh, well, World War I and II. Okay, yeah. Well, we kicked ass, apparently. Very much, very, 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 very much so. And there's just a lot to be had there. And then we ended up, kind of accepting the motto of toujours prêt, which is in French, always ready. And it's actually really, really cool to think about the fact that, I mean, is it really that easy to impress the French? Let me not go there.
Ooh, damn. The secondary title of episode 125 is Throwing Smoke on Our Allies Across the Pond.
I mean, yeah, we've always kind of gotten them out of sticky situations. But, let me not go there.
Let's stay on track, please.
Yeah. So, but either way, awkward. Again, so the French, like I said, they were actually very impressed by the 2nd Cavalry Regiment when they fought during those wars, both wars apparently. And I'm guessing it was awarded right after World War II. And it was allowed to be implemented onto the patch, which again, still freaking dude, cool as hell. We have we had the backing and the I guess you could say the camaraderie with, another nation's army that essentially, kind of gave us that kind of I guess kinship with those military, which is I think why for the most part we pretty much get along with most armies we work with. Um I mean, bear in mind the the British, the Germans, and all this other stuff. Even after, what I mean, we do very well in how well we build our relationships. At least at the ground level, ground troop level, we do very well at kind of building those relationships with our fellow soldiers across the pond and in other different areas of the world. Um, and it's really, really freaking cool to think of that we can, that I guess you could kind of think of soldiers as kind of fellow ambassadors with other militaries, because because what happens, in my personal opinion, this is what I think, you could tell me if you feel the same, bro. You kind of get to see that we are, no matter what army we're in, we are pretty much, for the most part, similar. We have, similar priorities. We prioritize our families. We think that we love our we think that we have to do what we can for our country. We love our countries. We want to be patriots,
Oh yeah,
serve
100%.
the greater good. You know what I mean?
I like how you could take soldiers from any time period in history,
Hmm.
and they're probably not going to be, mind you, they're going to be, obviously caught up of, behavior that's appropriate to their time.
Oh, of course.
You could have two centurions kicking it back about how, some Roman commander lopped off the head of a guy who was late in formation or some shit, all kind of crazy stuff. But and
Yeah.
I've always said you could take service members, and this is why I like working with service members, just because they had that commonality of of experience in life. You could
Yeah.
have an airman who is in Diego Garcia.
Experiential commonality.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't even know if that's an actual name for it, but this sounds good. We'll go with it. It's late. I'm tired. We'll go with it.
Fire.
But anyway, fire. You could have a Marine who is in Iwakuni, Japan. You could have a sailor who was at Pearl Harbor, and you could have an Army guy who's in Fort Riley, Kansas, and they're in four completely separate different parts of the world, but they're going to have some type of commonality of
Yes.
experiential like reality type stuff, or like, hey, they're going to bitch about this or find amusement in this. And it's like, oh yeah, I mean, I would think it's kind of the same all over the place. You get us with a bunch of
Yeah.
British dudes, we'd be like, I'm not gonna do a British accent because that would be
And
terrible. And I'm not.
it makes me laugh, because like I think about, I read the book, by the Navy SEAL that actually got Bin Laden, and I remember reading it, and I'm just like, there's just so many things in that book. I'm like, oh my god, we would have done that. Oh, we would have. And there was one specific part where they were doing their clearing and urban operations, right?
Right.
And they were going through buildings and clearing rooms and stuff. And at one point, they're supposed to find a cache inside of the house somewhere, and like there's like there's like a hole in the wall at some point. And in true military fashion, there was a big black silicone phallus.
I think we should maybe move this on before we get canceled.
In the wall. The guy, he grabs it, he goes, I found it. I found the IED.
I'm gonna take over for a minute while Alamo recovers and gets his breath back, because he's losing his shit right now.
It was the most military.
Oh yeah,
freaking.
That's why I think the best officers are guys that were Mustangs that were prior enlisted, because they know what Joe's up to. Like you talked about your old platoon leader who was a ranger, and he was just like, "Come on, guys! Like seriously,
Yeah.
like Jesus." But anyway, so getting back to heritage, so when I
Yes.
talk about my unit a little bit, um, so I was in the National Guard, infantry regiment here in Florida, the 124th Infantry Regiment. On their on their distinctive unit insignia, there's three different things on there. There is a sheathed sword for service during the Spanish War. There is a fleur de lis because we had service in France in World War One, and there's also a picture of a cactus plant for service on the Mexican border. So all of that is heritage to where the unit has been and what it has done. And then later on, the motto "Florida and Country" was added, which I think is great because that is exactly what it is. We serve two masters. We serve the state governor, and we also serve as a reserve component of the federal force. So, but when I talk about heritage too, what's also great about that is the fact that we also had permission from the Seminole tribe of Florida to use their colors and their motto. So the colors being red, white, yellow, and black, and then the motto of "Never Surrender." That was actually part of the greeting of the day. When you would see an officer, you'd salute and say "Seminole, sir," and they would return the salute and respond with "Never Surrender," and then carry on their way and stuff. So that kind of heritage is also stuff that goes with you no matter where you go. But and the reason this came up, with heritage for this episode, I know we're kind of getting in the weeds here. We talked about heritage a little bit, with this month being, Black History Month. I saw where I was working, they did a Black History Living Museum where they had a bunch of students come up and give like presentations as the people that they were representing. And one of them, this little girl came up and she did a really great job. She was Major Charity Adams of the 6th Battalion from World War II. And the legacy of that unit is now pretty well known, hopefully. They were a composite unit of about 850 African American members of the Women's Army Corps.
I just remembered the Vito R. Bertoldo is the guy that I was telling you about.
Okay.
Look him up. He ended up being 4F because of eyesight. But again, as Nick from the Fat Electrician likes to say, he had main character plot armor. So look him up. You'll figure it out.
Nice.
But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
You're good. You're good. But yeah, so this and I forget what grade this kid was in, but she portrayed Major Charity Adams of the 6th Battalion and just did a freaking bang up job with his presentation. I was like, wow, that's impressive. But also with the fact of like this, I think this year was the 100th year that they've had Black History Month. It seems it started in 1926. So
yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So that's kind of like part of the inspiration behind heritage and whatnot, and just kind of talked about what it means to us as veterans going forward and stuff. I did find a good article that I want to share. This is from a website called Grand Magazine. It's basically a magazine kind of geared towards grandparents, the culture, the lifestyle, all that kind of junk. And I'm going to read this a little bit while Alamo brings it up. But, heritage is one of those things that anybody can be a part of. I mean, I think about the heritage of my unit that I was in, the leaders that I had that went before me, the guys that went before me. Our good friend Brian was also in that same unit. It was very, very formative on who I am now as a person. Especially like during times of like when we got called out for like state active duty for like hurricane relief and whatnot. That's where, and some people might think, being in the National Guard, oh, that doesn't count. Yeah, well, shut up. You don't count. But like that's when you really get to go out and be a part of the community and like just passing out water or MREs at like a distribution points or something. Like that's freaking huge. Like I am so fortunate and blessed and thankful that I had those experiences of just helping people in their time of need. That was very, very defining and very formative of who I am now. So I would not trade any of that for anything.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, I'm going to read this article real quick. This is from grandmagazine.com. This is actually from late last year. It's called A Veteran's Role in Safeguarding History. This is a quick article, maybe like 5 minutes or so just bear with me, folks. Try not to trip on my words too much. When you have served your country, you have valuable life experience that should be shared and celebrated. A veteran is an important part of history, which has shaped the present and will continue to shape the future. You are a key part of history, and that history is important to maintain and safeguard. History should be protected and maintained because it provides a lot of information to present society. It helps people, leaders, and societies as a whole learn from the past, and it is a huge part in the collective identity of the country. Heritage preservation can foster skills such as critical thinking and can offer valuable educational benefits.
I can actually agree with that last statement.
Oh,
because you think about it, like, dude, like, okay, what would you have done in this situation? How would you have handled it? Blah 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 blah. It makes you think.
I got 2 words for that. Well, 3 words. Burnham's history class, like all day, all damn day, my dude.
Hell yes. Hell yes. Rest in peace, Mr. B.
Yeah, rest in peace, Mr. B.
As always.
History explains why society is structured the way it is, how political landscapes were shaped, and current events around the world. It can help guide better decisions in the future and can give communities a sense of pride to know where they have come from. It also provides important information on veterans who have worked hard to support their country and the lifestyle that people live today. Veterans are an important part of history and therefore can play a crucial role in the information that is available around the world and in how history can be safeguarded. Here are some of the important ways this can be done. Documenting personal stories. Sharing events and memories from the war can be difficult, but if you are able to, they can be the most significant contributions to society. When personal accounts are shared and documented, they have provided valuable information to piece together historical events as well as inform the rest of society. Stories and other memorabilia can then be available for all to see, admire, and in some cases, purchase as museums all around the world. The Gettysburg Museum of History is an example of a museum you can visit and get an understanding of all kinds of accounts of history. And I'm going to go back real quick sidebar.
And I would say it's not only catharsis for you if you do talk about it, but it adds to the historical record as well if you get it documented.
Yes. And I'm glad you said that because
really helpful.
I want to double tap on that. So our good friend, Mr. B, did a class for a lot of years at our old high school called History of the Vietnam War. And every week we had a veteran come in and talk about, their experiences. And it's kind of, I would, probably not be too far off base, Alamo, when I say that that's probably some of the inspiration behind what we do with the VIP segments on our show.
Heck yeah.
Talking about their experiences and all that kind of junk. And just kind of like how they went about having what they had happen to them during the war. And yeah, it was amazing. But also the fact too is when we got to the end of the 9 weeks later in the year, we had broken up into teams. We interviewed veterans and we actually preserved their stories and presented them an oral history, a volume of the oral histories of Vietnam War. Every student got a copy. The schools maintained copies. We gave a copy of that to the veteran, and we also sent a copy of that to the Library of Congress to be on record for all time, which is pretty cool. So knowing that was that we had a hand in that was also just an amazing thing.
Here's the thing that kills me though is like it makes you wonder now that Mr. B is gone, like, have they continued to do that? Like, is that going to be something that's part of
that's a great question
for that school still? And if it's not, shame on you, Armwood. You guys need to get
listen, not to sound like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but priorities change, funding changes. I mean, especially when you have somebody who was, the voice behind it. I mean, I believe he's the one that started it, and then it picked up at like 5 schools total. Like we had the folks that were there
Yeah.
from Bloomingdale, some other kids from somewhere else in the school. I forget exactly where, but that'd be curious. I would be interested to see if that's still a thing or not, because
Absolutely. And if it
once
is,
I get that.
and if it is, I only say shame on you if it's not still a thing. If it is still a thing, then okay, keep it going. Don't let it stop. Because unfortunately, our Korean War vets and our World War II vets are going away.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as we speak right now, our Vietnam vets are starting to go the same way. But a lot of it is because of health issues related to service. A lot of it could be due to Agent Orange. A lot of it could be, I mean, a myriad of different things. But a lot of it's just health issues, And I mean, heck, we're now what? How many years separated from Vietnam?
Vietnam ended in 72, so we're right at 54 years.
And it started in 1965,
Yeah, I mean, some people say like 58 or 59, because that's when we sent advisors over there right after Korea and stuff. But
well, that was the Greenie Beanies, and
yeah,
they were really there as a training force.
right.
So the first official, I think, start of combat, I'm pretty sure was the Ia Drang Valley. That was,
the
I think,
first
the first
major
major combat operation. It's like, so it gets kind of hazy when it comes to Vietnam as to when things actually genuinely started. But
right.
I mean, you think about it still, I mean, most of the guys that served back then, dude, I mean, they were probably what, in their early 20s, some of them in their
Younger than that,
younger than that,
18 or
like
so. Yeah.
18, like, and even still, a lot of those guys, they're going the way of the dodo now too. So we have to keep it. We have to get these guys to talk, and we have to get them to document their stories. That
Preserve the history as best we can. Absolutely.
History might not like remembering Vietnam, but none of the things that led to it and the things that it really was not on them. They were just like, okay, to put it into perspective, Vietnam, we may have had a drafter in Vietnam, but the vast majority of the soldiers that went to Vietnam were still, for the most part, volunteer.
Yeah.
We have always been a volunteer force. We have been a volunteer force for I can't even, since our inception, and we have remained a volunteer force. The draft in Vietnam, did we have a lot of draftees and a lot of guys that didn't want to be there and probably shouldn't have been there? Yeah, we did. And there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for having sent guys that didn't like the cause or anything like that being over there. Were there some guys that volunteered to go and ended up coming back and being a little bit bitter and, kind of questioning what the heck the country was doing, the government specifically was doing at the time? Yeah, absolutely. But it doesn't make their stories the less important.
No.
It doesn't make what their experience was, what they went through, the friends they lost, the friends they gained. It doesn't make those things any lesser. And, I don't know, man. I just, Vietnam is one of those conflicts that, history doesn't like to remember. But in all honesty, we should never forget.
Right.
Because those guys were treated probably the worst. And for the most part, again, like I said, it was it was a mostly volunteer force. These guys went over there thinking they were doing the right thing. Some of them, not all, still think they went over there trying to do the right thing to this day.
Yeah.
Some of them changed their mind. It doesn't, again, it doesn't make their stories less important and doesn't mean that they shouldn't talk about it either. I just, we've really gotta, come through for our Vietnam vets, man. And if anybody that watches or listens to this episode is a Vietnam vet, we encourage you, hey, step forward. Let your story be told before it can't be. Because your story deserves to be told.
And once they're gone, they're gone.
That's it. The only thing that you could be left is your legacy. That's the way heritage keeps going.
Yeah.
It has to be recorded.
You know, it's funny you say that because I was actually going to put that definition in there and I forgot. I got busy with something else, but
Yeah.
It's amazing that we had that same kind of thought. So, all right, I'm going to pick that.
Great minds, homie.
There you go. I'm going to pick the article back up. So sharing knowledge and skills. So while history is in the past, there are many relevant stories, skills, and experiences that are relevant today. There are political and global conflicts around the world. Veterans have a strong understanding of military operations, culture, terminology, and more. This can be invaluable in present and future conflicts, as well as training new recruits and conducting work such as interpreting archives. Community and projects. Personal accounts, skills, and experiences can be transformed through community involvement, including projects, preservation efforts. See, this is, my freaking brain's starting to click off. And sharing knowledge. Hands-on projects may include artifact processing, rehousing historical records, and digital photography.
Yep.
Memorials and cemeteries can be built and maintained to honor and respect other veterans, as well as surveying and preserving historical sites. Community projects are an excellent way to safeguard history as they bring together different people of different generations and backgrounds. Connections can be forged and purpose can be created. Through these activities, the hard work and commitment of veterans can be better understood and honored within society and communities. History can be safeguarded and remembered.
Hell yes.
So yeah, I mean,
safeguard history, man.
Going back to the conversation on heritage that we started off with, like, there's especially it was cool for me because a while back I was going through some old pictures and I found my grandfather's picture when he was in uniform. So he started off in the Army Air Force. Excuse me. Oh, that coffee gave me the hiccups.
Army Air Corps.
No, he was in the Army Air Force. It had already became the Army Air Force at this point.
Got it. Okay.
It was after the Army Air Corps. This was, I think, in the early 40s, I believe. I don't exactly remember when, but he joined up, I want to say after, it was during World War II. He was not able to go because he had a glass eye, but there was some kind of mix-up where somebody else who had a similar name to him wanted to go and do finance and all this other stuff. And that's how my grandfather got into the Army Air Force doing like finance. He was responsible for like pay all the way up and down a bunch of bases up and down the Eastern Seaboard and stuff, which probably is why he ended up going into banking after the war. He was the president of a bank in Zephyr Hills at one point and everything else.
Nice.
But he also switched over and went into the Indiana National Guard. So I saw a picture of him. It was a headquarters platoon, I believe. And he's sitting there and he's got his first sergeant stripe on. I'm just like, yeah, that's pretty badass. It had been colorized and all this stuff, but like that's the heritage that I have. That and the fact that my grandfather on my mom's side was a Korean War veteran. So like it's kind of that heritage is in my bloodline and all that kind of stuff. And then being the first one to join up since those guys, my grandfather my grandpa Jim. I came home from basic training. I'm like, we got to stop it there. But he saw me and he was just beaming with pride, man. Freaking E2 slick sleeve, nobody over here,
Yep.
all that kind of shit. So, but so, and you posed a good question too. What we carry after uniform, the heritage, I think for me, the heritage of my time in service and my time in uniform is, just stepping up when there was something crazy going on in the world. 9/11 had happened, and I was like, I need to
Yeah.
do my part for sure. So that's kind of, the big thing behind that was just, being a senior in high school, and it's like, okay, I guess it's my turn. Vietnam happened when my parents were young. World War II for my grandfather. So this was like, I guess it was like my time to answer the call, so to speak. But the other heritage too is just, in regards of like dealing with people, it's just treating people fairly, kindly, respectfully. I had some fantastic leaders, some of them who have gone on to some of the highest levels of leadership. My old squad leader is the command sergeant major for my old battalion. I think they're overseas right now on a deployment. Another squad leader I had, he's the state sergeant major, the operations sergeant major for the state for National Guard recruiting and shit. So I was very blessed to have good leadership, demonstrated around me constantly. And I try to do that in my life now with my kid and with those around me, and just trying to honor those experiences and the people that I had that were formative in bringing me to the person I am today. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure does.
So, do you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
No, man. I mean, I have family that served as well, and on both sides. Like we had the Villafanes and we have the Alamos. The the
Is
the
it
fun.
pronounced Villafane or is it Villafane?
If you're pronouncing original Spanish, it's Villafañe. Yes,
Villafane. Okay.
Villafañe. It has the ñ at the end.
Okay.
And it's funny too, because like honestly, like Villafañe actually originates more from Portugal than it does from Spain, which I thought was actually kind of cool. So I might actually have a little bit of I might actually have a little Portuguese in me, but
it's funny, we didn't even bring that up, like cultural heritage, because like when like in September and like halfway through September and October, you have Hispanic Heritage Month, that whole celebration. That's when I started working at the school, and I was like, they really go all out for this kind of stuff. I was like, that's pretty cool. But also the fact too, St. Patty's Day is coming up.
Hey, go and have yourself a green beer, there, guy.
Oh no, I'm gonna go over to the restaurant to have some corned beef and cabbage. Great.
Oh, are you gonna?
You ever had corned beef and cabbage, dude?
I've had corned beef. I haven't had the corned beef and cabbage.
So the cabbage is steamed. I got it from a place here in Brandon last year. It was great. The cabbage, I'm like, it's good. It was all right, but the corned beef was.
I do like corned beef now.
Corned beef is great.
Corned beef is delicious.
So anyway, but you were saying, the Villafane.
But yeah,
being from Portugal.
Yeah, Villafane, yeah, is actually it's a name derived from Portugal. And when I thought about when I honestly I never knew that that's where the name actually originated. I don't remember the Portuguese pronunciation of the name, but when the name came to Spain, and it ended up being changed from whatever it was in Portuguese to Villafañe in Spanish. So, which I thought that was actually pretty cool finding that out.
Yeah. I think more people should do that. Like, not necessarily do the whole 23andMe thing, but just like research your lineage and your heritage, like where you come from
Yeah.
and stuff. Obviously, the folks that do like the whole DNA stuff, that's kind of gotten some negative publicity being in the news because selling your information to
Selling
other companies. Like,
information.
but if you can
Yeah.
go back and research and stuff, like that's super damn dope. I would
Yeah.
love to do that.
Like there's so many variations of the name Alamo, but they're all from Spain. Alarco, Alamos, Alamo. Like there was just, and it's funny too because like you think about the name Alamo, you would never think it's basically like it's like an arbol or tree, like the poplar is what it actually is named.
Really?
I shit, it caught me off guard. But, hey, that means that we're a stout people. Um,
Speaking of stout, Patty's Day's coming up, don't you know?
oh, I do know that the St. Patty's Day is coming up. We'll have ourselves a nice stout,
I'm
or
going-
possibly maybe a nice whiskey.
I mean, I've got a bottle of bourbon. I've got a bottle of whiskey. Hey,
What about some Jameson?
that's what I've got in the fridge, eh?
Hey,
Good damn stuff.
that's
Absolutely.
good damn stuff.
Put some lead
Um,
in your pencil.
Oh, hey.
No, but
Um,
I've always heard stories about like my family's heritage. Like,
Yeah.
I've been told like there's Seminole Indian on my mom's side.
Mhm.
My dad's side, there's some Irish, there's some Polish as well. I've heard a little bit of Russian.
Dude, have you ever thought about getting something for your family coat of arms?
I actually went. So it's funny you say that because I was thinking of that just a minute ago
Dude,
when
have
you were
you
talking about the
seen-
variation of the name.
Have you seen mine? Have you seen
I've
mine?
seen. You have the shield. Yeah, I've seen yours. I remember it being in the other office and stuff.
Show it off in the show.
Jesus. But it's funny you mentioned the whole thing about like the coat of arms and stuff, or the different names. Like there's all kind of different variations of my family's name, and
Bam.
one of them even saying that's pretty damn dope, dude. That's legit. That is awesome.
Alamo coat of arms.
That's
Obviously,
badass.
you got the red and white for the the old Spaniard colors.
That's pretty dope, though.
Because the old Spanish flag, I'm pretty sure. Well, if you remember from history, it's like it was basically the white backdrop with a big red cross on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that's what's on the shield.
So I went. They had a vendor out at the shop at the BX out at McDill, and he was selling like the Hall of Names, like the coat of arms type stuff. So I've got a printout of mine, and that's actually what I want to get if I ever get a tattoo. That's what I want to get is my family's crest.
Yeah.
Right here over on my chest or something, and then get the family motto written in Latin, which is Sola Salus Servare Deo, which is to serve God is only salvation in Latin. Which I was like, that's pretty dope. But it's funny you say the whole like the different names, variations of the names, because one of the things that they brought up on that was Sir Alec Guinness being possibly related to my family somehow in a very varied branch or whatnot. But that's the guy that played Ben Kenobi in the original Star Wars.
The original
was like
Obi-Wan.
It's like, I'm good with that. Yeah. So, but also, and that's, kind of to bring this full circle, that's kind of like my way of, recognizing and keeping my heritage with me of the people in my family that went before me, my grandfather, my dad, my brother, now that they've, passed away. The heritage of the type of guy that came before me, like as a reminder, like as like an homage or like an in memoriam, so to speak. That's the kind of heritage I want to pay, going forward and stuff. I would love to get like them. You can get them made like the signet rings, where you can like take it and you actually can wax and seal it on something. I'm like, yeah, that'd be badass. So just a thought. So
hell yes.
Anyway, if you don't have anything else to add, I'm going to start wrapping this up. But that has been our conversation on heritage. not really anything too deep tonight, but just, something to think about. What is the heritage that if you're a service member or a veteran, what is the heritage? What is your heritage from your time in service? What have you taken from that into your civilian life after your time in uniform? What is your heritage to your kids? What is your heritage to your family? Kind of some stuff you kind of look yourself in the mirror and be like, yeah, let's think about this, shall we? So, but just kind of like a good conversation to talk about. This isn't something we've discussed yet, so we thought it would be fun. With what's going on, with like Black History Month, talking about different things along those lines. So, figured it'd be a good conversation. But this is the point of the show. We're gonna start wrapping things up, kind of talking about where we came from, why we are why we do what we do, all that kind of stuff. So, Alamo, as I mentioned earlier, Alamo and I have been friends for a long time. We went to high school together. I was in my senior year. He was in his freshman year. 9/11 happened. It obviously ended up changing the trajectory of both of our lives. For not good or bad, just changing the trajectory of our lives into military service after the fact. And we've been friends, pretty much ever since then. Alamo went active duty. I went to National Guard, served in Afghanistan. He went to Iraq. So, we had a wide multitude of experiences and whatnot. So, we ended up having a job where we worked together in retail. Had a lot of fun doing it. It was a great job. Had this friend of ours named John who also worked there. John was a funny fucker. He was a great dude to be around. Hilarious. Always made work fun, bro. Why buy a box of ammo when you can buy a case? It's like 1,000 rounds. Like, yeah, bro. Nice.
John was always very matter of fact about how he sold his stuff. It was just like
Blunt
very like
to a fault. And he does the impersonation of John so damn well. He's like, I think I'll take that case of ammo. Yeah.
yeah, let's bring it up, bro.
So fucking good.
Uh,
God. So we all worked there for a little while, all and went our own separate ways. And then later on, I was asked by Alamo's lovely wife Tisha to come help with an event for her organization called Flipside Mentorship. If you want to check out good people doing great things, go check out flipsidementorship.com. They are doing fantastic, wonderful things over there. And this is not just me blowing smoking, sucking up to his wife. I don't need to. She knows that how I feel about her. But they are doing amazing things over there. Check it out. It is fantastic. Flipsidementorship.com. We partner with them, do an event once a year called Battle Buddies. And we go out and we talk about military service and how it applies to our everyday life. Kind of have like a running theme for each of the ones that we've done. We talk about like one character trait, service, or whatever. I forget what they all were, but we kind of focus on one thing and we talk about our experiences, how they apply to it, and all that kind of stuff. So, great event. It's awesome. The only complaint is I get burnt like a lobster because I'm very pasty skinned.
You pasty bastard.
And Alamo's making fun of me for it. Yeah, we can't all be fortunate in that way. But so we did that, and afterwards, Alamo was like, "Dude, that was a blast." I'm like, "Yeah, it was. And we should do something to start working together again, where we get to hang out and stuff." So we talked about the idea of a podcast. I believe you brought it up, and I was like, "I don't know anything about a podcast. I don't think I've ever listened to a podcast." He's like, "Dude, they put a monkey in space. How hard can it be?" I'm like, "Your math is mathing, my dude. I like that." So absolutely. So we kind of started kicking that idea around. Well, at this time, we found out that our great friend John, with whatever he had going on, kind of succumbed to the thoughts in his head, and he solved a temporary problem with a permanent solution, and he killed himself. Unfortunate, and that is a tragedy because he has 2 kids that now don't get to see their dad anymore. He was a guy worth knowing. He really was. Like, he would give you the shirt off his back, literally give you the shirt off his back if he knew that you needed it more than him. So I reached out to Alamo and I was like, "Hey, did you hear about John?" And He's like, no, I saw his birthday. I gotta reach out to him. I'm like, well, you can't because he's gone. So that was for me was like the big catalyst moment. I was like, hey, this podcast thing, like I'm in. Let's do this. So kind of started conceptualizing it, brought it to life, did the first episode, realized how much fun it would be. The first episode, I will say, is very cringe. So please don't go watch that.
I would say the first few episodes were pretty good.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out what we were doing.
We were trying to figure out the formula, folks. Don't judge us.
We were trying to figure out the winning recipe for that sauce. So the sauce took a while, but anyway,
we started finding our stride, I would say.
Oh yeah, we hit our stride
ish
for sure. I think when we did episode 10 and 11 talking about 9/11, I think that's probably when that kind of really started, going well.
One of my favorite episodes to this day is when we did the holiday episode, our first holiday episode, where we talked about our experiences during the holidays.
Is that the one where we talked about Wienergate? Hey man, I gotta put a wall up. I'm tired of looking at all these wieners in here.
Dude, I went back and watched it a while back, and I did not do anything for like a good 15 minutes because I was cracking up at that. I was like, we are such idiots. But that was hilarious. Yes, absolutely.
That was the night Doc Roscoe jumped on, and
that's right.
Actually, I think he was the one that coined Wienergate, if I remember correctly.
So we came up with the idea. We came up with what we were going to call ourselves, and we kind of came up with the Battle Bros Code. And what the Bros Code is it's 4 easy things you can remember when things start getting rough. If you're not having the best day, if things you feel like you're sitting in the mud, spinning your tires, you're stuck, you need somebody to come winch you out of the ditch or something, physically and mentally, emotionally, whatever the case may be. If you remember the Bros Code, it's going to give you a good chance of being able to accomplish just that. So it's easy to remember, BROS, and that's it. It's all about that whole keep it simple, stupid mentality. So
yes, sir.
So we're going to go through those real quick. Be tenacious. No matter what you do in life, do it to the utmost of your abilities and your efforts and your energy. Do it with gusto, do it with tenacity, do it with, a fire in the gut, so to speak. In the words of the great Ron Swanson, don't half-ass 2 things, whole ass 1 thing. Also, another great movie quote that's talking about being tenacious from the movie The Rock with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage when they were inside of Alcatraz, and Nick Cage is like, I'll do my best. And Sean Connery's like, your best. Losers stay home and complain about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. And he's talking about his girlfriend. He goes, she was a prom queen. He goes, oh, okay. So yeah, go and fuck the prom queen, people. Anyway, be tenacious. R, refuse to surrender. When things happen in your life that don't go as according to plan, okay, that happens. That's what life is. The unexpected, when you least expect it. Whatever that event is that happens, okay, that's fine. Reset, reorient, pull out your map and your compass, shoot a freaking azimuth, figure out where you're going, get back on track and move out, man. That's all you can do. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, knock the dirt and the mud off your face, go from there, man. Refuse to surrender. And going along with that, obliterate your obstacles. No matter what those obstacles look like, don't let them defeat you. It could be where you got to take a detour down a country road and come out the other side. You may have to skirt along a river in order to get back onto the main supply route. You may have to navigate over a wall, around a wall, under a wall. Sometimes you got to, breach a wall, blow a hole in it, drive a vehicle through it, whatever the case may be. It's all good. Do what you got to do. Obliterate your obstacles. Okay. Last and most certainly not least is S. Seek out help in a time of need. As you mentioned with our friend John, there isn't really anything we can do other than to just keep his name alive so that he does not suffer a second death. The quote, I believe, goes, people die. Most people, how the hell does it go? Most people die 2 deaths. Once when they physically die, and a second one when everyone forgets their name.
Yeah.
So we're trying to prevent the second one. We keep John's memory alive every episode by talking about his story and everything else. We are not meant to go through life alone. And if you ever feel like you're alone, please reach out to somebody, whatever that looks like. You know, being members of the veteran community, it's a smaller, subgroup of society as a whole, but it is one that is powerful and mighty because we have the strength of people that have gone before us and also know what the hell we're going through. So if you feel like you don't have anybody you can reach out to, now if you do, reach out to them, family members, friends, loved ones, coworkers, if they're trustworthy and you're able to talk to them about certain things. So some people you can, some people you can't, and that's not meant to be sound anything bad. It's just it's a matter of fact kind of thing. Some people you can talk to heavy things about. Some people you can talk to about heavier, deeper subjects, I should say.
Correct.
Some people you can't, and that's fine. Find somebody that can help you out. If you feel like you don't have anybody that you can reach out to, somebody you might have served with, one of your buddies from back in the day when you were in the military, reach out to them because who better to understand what you're going through than them. But if you don't have anybody that you can reach out to, and you feel like you're going to do something to go down that path of no return, please stop and listen to what I'm telling you to do. Okay. If you feel like you're going to harm yourself, contact one of these numbers. Okay. There is the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. You can reach them several different ways. You have the 800 number at 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 800-273-8255. 1-800-273-TALK, Tango, Alpha, Lima, Kilo. Okay. You can also reach them via the 3-digit prefix 988. Again, that's 988. Once you call those numbers, you dial 1 to get them online with an operator at that particular time. You can also text at 838255. Again, 838255. Get in touch with somebody as soon as you can. They have folks standing by 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to assist you in your time of crisis. Okay. As we said earlier, the older generations of veterans are rapidly dwindling away, whether it's World War II, especially, but then also in Vietnam, in Korea as well, Vietnam and whatnot. And one of the things that we want to help prevent.
The funny thing is a lot of the guys that served in Korea, there's guys that served in World War II. So we've lost a very good majority of those guys.
Yeah. That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
One of the things that we're trying to do with this show is to stop this statistic. Now, the number is probably a lot higher, as we recently discovered on a previous show.
Yeah.
But 22 a day, the idea is that at one point, 22 veterans a day were, taking that path of no return and unaliving themselves. So we are trying to help put a stop to that. I get asked all the time, my daughter's like, how many followers do you have? I'm like, what's this? I don't know. That's not really a number that we track. I'm more concerned about how many we save. If we get somebody to reach out to us and say, hey, I watched your show. You guys are hilarious. You're idiots. But I stopped laughing. I stopped, stopped thinking of these dark thoughts long enough to laugh at the fact that you have a head that would scare children and the other guy is pretty charismatic and funny. And I thought about things for a second, and it's the first time I've laughed in a while. Like if I was able to hear a story like that, that would just mean the absolute world to me. It would be very vindicating and reaffirming of what we're trying to do with this show. So not looking for all the wrong attention, but just, trying to be humble that, we're still going to be a small show. We're not ever, I don't know if we're ever going to be as big as like Rogan or something, but that's not the point. The point is to get the message out there like, hey, keep fighting, keep pushing on one day at a time, so on, so on, so on. So, but if you can remember those 4 things, folks, like that's going to help you out the most. Okay. The 4 things again are be tenacious, refuse to surrender, obliterate your obstacles, seek out help in a time of need. If you can remember those 4 things, it's going to give you the energy and the strength and the fortitude to keep pushing into the next day, into the next day, into the next day. And before you know it, the darkness is behind you and you are getting yourself to a better state and a better place. Okay. So Please remember that as we
Right.
try to end the epidemic of veteran suicide. Okay. At this time, I'm going to hand it off to my co-host. He's coworker. Jesus, I haven't been your coworker in like years.
I
My
know.
co-host here. He's going to finish up all the social media stuff, and then we're going to get out of here and give you some quick announcement at the very end. So
The socials.
where are we?
So, if you want to catch up with us on the socials, obviously we're on all the we're on the meta platforms. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We don't have a Threads yet. So I don't plan on being on Threads. I mean, we're barely. I'm on the Twitter. I'm gonna be honest. I'm on the Twitter probably at least once or twice a month, just because there's so little traction there.
Dude, this coffee is so good.
I know.
Oh yeah, it's a
So,
spot.
but for sure, the Instagram and the Facebook I monitor like every freaking day. So if you guys want to catch up with us there, you can do that. All you got to do is go to facebook.com or in your app, and then you can do battlebros.podcast, right? That's pretty much it. All you got to do is battlebros.podcast. You'll find us there. Same thing on Instagram. All you got to do is at battlebros_podcast, and you'll find us there as well. On Twitter, as if you guys are interested in Twitter or you guys actually use Twitter, you could always go to at battlebrospc, and you'll find us there. The biggest thing is using that instant messaging service. Message us, let us know how we're doing, tell us that you liked the recent episode, give us ideas for stuff you guys want to hear about, whether it's something history related. Hey, we're a couple of freaking history goober nuts, so we love history. So
Goober nuts.
Yeah, so give us some ideas, man.
That's a new one.
Give us some ideas. Let us know what you guys, because hey, if it's something cool about the subject at hand, or something that's inspirational or something that can help lift people up, like, I mean, we want to hear about it so that we can research it and talk about it. We love that stuff, man. Let us know what you guys think about the most recent episodes. Let us know if we suck. Let us know if
you're gonna do that. Be gentle. Some of it,
Yeah. Be gentle.
Might be a little sensitive. We work full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Might just be a hard day. I got my throw and beat the fuck out of it. So
yeah. And then also, tell us if you guys loved it. Let us know this helped you. Let us know this helped a cousin, friend, whatever, battle buddy, any of that stuff. We like that kind of feedback. We like hearing about it. We like being able to hear that, people are engaged. People are enjoying people are liking what we're doing. Because like Mac, I mean, my thing is like, I'd be absolutely thrilled to see that message come through saying, hey, you guys are some goofy sons of bitches, but you guys saved my life. That was freaking to the moon for me. So that's why we do this. We're not doing this for the clicks. We're not doing this for, the subscribership. I mean, it would be nice. Don't get me wrong. It would be very nice. But I mean, for us, it's saving that one guy, saving that one girl that they're just on their last, like they're on their last thread, and they just, for whatever reason, they just came across what we were doing, started laughing at what the heck we were saying, and they just sat there and listened just for giggles. And then it turned into another episode, and it turned into another episode, and they just kept listening. And eventually it's like, you guys made me not want to do it, because you made me realize there's still more to be had. It's like, so yeah, let us know, man. We even have a personal Gmail that we monitor pretty much every week. It's battlebrospc@gmail.com. once again, battlebrospc@gmail.com, battlebrospc@gmail.com. And we'll even take private messages there. You know, if you guys didn't feel comfortable doing it on the instant messaging for the meta platforms and otherwise, because again, we want that feedback. We need that feedback, because it helps us try to do better for you guys. If you like what you hear and you like what you see, like, subscribe, share. Sharing is caring. And also, if you are not so sure about the YouTube platform, because, you know, it's a silly place for many, let's say,
A myriad
myriad
reasons.
myriad of reasons. You know, it's very picky about the things that you say. The algorithm will say you're saying something wrong when really you're just trying to, you know, spread good information. But because you said one thing off, go figure, the algorithm said, no, you said something bad. Mind you, it could be just one word that messed up the whole thing. There's options for you. There's the Rumble. We are always on Rumble. I still have to upload some episodes, so bear with me. I've been catching up very good on the Spotify. So if you like Spotify, subscribe to us there, man, or follow. Like, comment there as well. I would like to, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure commenting and things like that actually helps, you know, Spotify kind of recognize, because, you know, Spotify is a creator's paradise as well. And, you know, if you comment, the more you comment, the better traction we get. It just helps out, you know, it helps spread the word. But we are on Spotify, we're on iHeartRadio, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on a myriad of different places, man. It's absolutely nuts how many places we're on. And yeah, I can't say it enough, man. Like, you know, the more feedback you give us, the better we do and the better we can do for you. But at the end of the day, it's really about you guys. We want to be here for those that are struggling. And we're going to keep doing this until, you know, we're going to keep doing it till the wheels fall off. Let's put it that way. And as long
Wheels
as
have already fallen off at once or twice, my dude.
dude, you're not wrong. But
Throwing that out there.
But yeah. Sharing is caring, guys. Share these episodes, share them with your family, share them with your friends. Because at the end of the day, it helps. And that's all I got, man. Yeah.
Thanks for that, my dude. I appreciate it. Anyway, folks, again, thank you so much for stopping by. Whether it's your first time or a repeat appearance, thank you for partaking in this journey with us. This cannot work, and it is not possible without you watching and or listening at home, in your car, in the gym, wherever you're listening to us at. We humbly and gratefully say thank you for helping to do your part with this. This has been episode 125, entitled Heritage, What We Carry After Uniform. On behalf of myself and my co-host Alamo, thank you. We will not be here next week, which is going to be March 6th. Friday, March 6th, there will not be a new episode. We have some scheduling conflicts, can't do it. But we will have a new one on Friday the 13th. Ooh. And it's 313. It's like it's 13 backwards and forwards. Anyway, March 13th is when our next episode will be, and it actually works out because we're hoping to do a really good conversation on something that we've kind of been talking about doing for a while.
Yeah.
So not going to tease too much more than that, but
Indeed.
Thank you so much for taking time out to listen to us this Friday night. Hope everybody has a good one. And just please remember, if everything else is going to crap, you always got 4 things you can hang on. Be tenacious, refuse to surrender, obliterate your obstacles, seek out help in a time of need. Okay. If you can do that, then you have a good chance of making it through the day and on to the next and on to the next. So just remember that. Okay. This has been the Battle Bros podcast. My name is Mac. This is Alamo. We will see you next time.
Battle Bros out.
Do, 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 do.